Isolated and sparsely populated, the island of Vieques, off Puerto Rico, may seem lonely to some, but for John and Neva Gale Hicks, it's the perfect place to get away from it all.
We fell in love with Vieques on our first visit, and John, even from about the second day we arrived here, he immediately started looking at property because he realized it was his escape.
With John as the architect and general contractor, the couple built a hillside home drawn from nature's beauty.
And nature is very important to me because my observation is that there are more beautiful things in nature than what man has made on the earth. And I try to mimic that.
John picked the site himself because of the constant breezes that come off the Caribbean.
If you place your house, you know, in the hills where you can catch the breeze, in fact, it's better than being down by the seashore where there are more insects and where there's less breeze.
John based his design on an inverted triangle. There are large decks and windows, but no glass at all, and almost every room has a view to the outside.
The triangle is a very strong shape, but also it addresses the breezes, so it catches the breeze and brings it into the house, which we want to do most of the time. So the triangle shape was really a very important part of the design.
When it came time to build, John faced the challenge of building a fire-resistant and hurricane-resistant home on an island with limited materials. John turned to local craftsmen for answers. They proposed a concrete frame supported by concrete block.
You'll build a concrete block wall, you'll leave a gap, you'll have a steel cage inside that gap, you put plywood on each side, you'll pour the concrete down in between, and you've formed a column, using the concrete block on each side as formwork.
The build team covered the mishmash of concrete block and columns with plaster, colored to resemble the granite boulders on the property.
It's so beautifully plastered on the outside. You have this beautiful, solid piece of sculpture that's sitting in the landscape.
The decoration of the home is inspired by the ancient Japanese principles of wabi-sabi, an aesthetic that allows John to travel back to an earlier time.
Wabi-sabi comes from the 15th century tea ceremony in Japan. And what it says in a nutshell for me is that as things get older, and as they wear, like a handrail on a stair and it begins to shine, or as something begins to crack a little and get older, that it becomes more beautiful.
From the weathered-looking walls, to the concrete tables and counters, to the simple wooden furnishings, the wabi-sabi principle is woven into every aspect of the Hicks home. There's also an outdoor shower that lets you experience the breezes and the view without giving up any privacy.
He envisioned of capturing the trade winds, capturing the moment, capturing the indoor-outdoor experience.
The sun, channeled through photovoltaic panels, provides electricity and heats the water. Rain is also a welcome guest here, with cisterns to catch the drops and floors designed to drain.
You don't have to worry about water leakage or any of those elements because the floors just drain away. We have the floors all sloped and going away. So it gives us a really simple life.
For the Hickses and their guests, a favorite place to relax and catch the views is the rooftop deck.
We find people gravitate to the top level because they do enjoy seeing the views. Also, the kite on the very top gives them a chance for shade, a chance to enjoy the breezes.
And when the Hickses must leave their hillside retreat, all they need to do is close the shutters and roll down the doors.
I've used large commercial steel rolling doors coming out of the ceiling and coming down so that when we go to the beach, we just chain the door down to the floor and we walk away, and we know that no one can get into the house.
John and Neva Gale say living on this island paradise is like sophisticated camping. With such rewards as constant trade winds, Caribbean views, and much sought-after tranquility, it's easy to see why.
It's almost a spiritual awakening for me. Each time I come, you have the gift of Mother Nature. Let her run a house, and that's what we did.
Can you identify this house? This 3-story home is